Hello, everyone. This is Mark Blanton from The Real South Africa. And as you already know, we always bring you what's real and what's going on, what's relevant to South Africa. Today, I brought in an expert because, we always bring in experts to talk about particular topics, particular things that you need to know in either visiting South Africa or coming here to repatriate. So sitting beside me is Jennifer. She's going to introduce herself and she's going to tell you all about her. Everything.
Okay, my name is Jennifer Vikamin. I'm an immigration consultant with 11 years of experience. I live in Midrand.
Okay.
Yes.
And where are you from again?
I'm from Limpopo.
You
Originally from Limpopo, but I grew up in Tembisa.
Okay, yeah. She likes we all like Limpopo. We were just there. And we're going to be going back to Limpopo. So my Limpopo people, stick with us. We're going to definitely be coming back out profiling, your country. So, excuse me, your province. Excuse me, let me get it right. I know how y'all are up there in Limpopo. Mm-hmm. So just tell me a little bit about the visa process for South Africa.
Okay. We've got different options. Mm-hmm. You can come in as a tourist. Mm-hmm. You can come in as a worker if you have secured a job or you have a job offer in South Africa. You can come in as a relative if you have family or a spouse in South Africa or a life partner. You can come in as a retired person.
Okay.
Yes, or as a volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you see, there's plenty of ways to come to South Africa legally and make sure all your paperwork is good to go. And there is a process or a pathway to spend as much time as you want here in South Africa. It always generally starts with a tourist visa, and then from there it normally goes to a temporary residency. Then once you obtain your temporary residency, then you can move on to permanent residency. And there's several ways of doing that. And of course, throughout this video, we're gonna break all those things down for you. And if you have any questions, in the meanwhile, please just send them to us at outreach@therealsouthafrica.com, and then from there we will engage you and see if you qualify or can qualify for a visa. And I suggest that everyone that does have the option to get a visa, I would suggest that you work with us so we can go ahead and get you a visa so you can spend time here in sunny South Africa. Temporary visas.
Okay.
Let's have a conversation about temporary visas.
Okay, temporary visas depends whether you want to work in South Africa or whether you want to retire in South Africa.
Okay.
Or if you have relatives in South Africa, like parents or spouses who are allowed to apply for a temporary residence visa.
Okay.
So if you're planning to work in South Africa, you've got different types of work visas.
Okay.
You can come in, you can apply for a critical skills work visa, or you can apply for a general work visa, or if you are a spouse or a life partner of a South African citizen, if you have a job offer, you can apply for what we call Section 11.6, which is a spousal work visa, or some people call it a spousal with or a relatives with an endorsement to work or conduct your own business. Okay. Yes. So
the temporary visa, a permit, as some people like to call it, allows you to do what here in South Africa? What is it? I'm under the impression that it allows you to stay in the country until it expires.
Yes. So, for example, if you're applying for the relatives visa, it's issued for a maximum period of 3 years. Okay. Or it can be issued as per the expiry date of your passport. Okay. If that visa would allow you to reside in South Africa with your family, with your spouse, the relatives one does not allow you to work. Okay. Yeah. Once you secure a job or once you decide to start your own business, then you can apply for that endorsement to work or endorsement to conduct your own business. It will be issued for the same duration of 3 years. Okay. Yeah. It's linked to your relationship
Okay.
and not your visa would have the condition of your activity. For example, if you are working, it would say you are working for such a company.
So let me ask you this. So let's say somebody comes here and they come here on a tourist visa. Let me ask you a little question. Can they change their visa status while they're here on a tourist visa?
No, unless if you are a spouse. If you've got a relative or a life partner, or if you are a parent of a permanent resident holder, then you are allowed to change your status here. Or you can apply for a waiver and request Home Affairs. You'd have to obviously motivate why you are unable to go back home and apply for your visa.
Okay.
But a change of a tourist visa to a work visa, it's not allowed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that, because I know we have some people that feel that they can come here and then they could just stay and then apply for their visa while they're here. And especially as a U.S. citizen, you have to apply in your home, your country of origin.
Yes.
Okay. And I think there's only a few locations throughout the United States where there is an embassy where they can apply. And the only reason I say that, that's why it's important that you get your paperwork done properly the first time, because if you don't live in DC, or you don't live in New York, you don't live in LA, where there's a South African embassy, you'll be going back and forth several times trying to get the correct paperwork, and that's a lot of travel, and that's a lot of time, and that's a lot of money spent. So it's always good to have somebody advocating for you, and that's something that we've just set up so we can make sure that by the time you have your package is done, everything is good to go, you walk in there, you can walk in there with confidence to make sure that your stuff is taken care of. So that's why I asked you that little question. Now, permanent residency.
Okay.
Let's talk about permanent residency.
Permanent residency, there are different options.
Okay.
For example, if you are a spouse,
Okay.
you would qualify for permanent residency after 5 years of
A spouse of
a South African or permanent resident holder.
Okay.
Yes. So you'd qualify for permanent residency after you've been married for 5 years.
Okay.
Or you've been in a life partner relationship for 5 years.
Okay.
If you hold a work visa, like critical skills, you qualify for a permanent residency immediately once you've been offered a permanent employment.
Okay.
Yes. So if you are on that 1 year critical skills visa, you are not allowed, or you cannot qualify to apply for permanent residency.
Okay.
Until you've secured a permanent employment.
Okay.
Yes. And then if you're holding the general work visa, which is not easy to obtain, you would have to qualify for permanent residence once you've been working as a general worker for 5 years.
Okay.
However, before you could apply for that permanent residence, you would have to renew your general work visa.
Okay.
Because whilst your PR is in process, you are required to have a valid visa at all times.
So if you notice, you've been here 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. Because basically, while you're here under the 5 years, through those years, you can't get in trouble. You can't cause problems. You can't do that stuff you was doing in the U.S. no more. I'm just playing. You can. Just don't get caught. Those are the types of things they look at. So after the 5 years, they will review all your paperwork. They'll review everything. You've been a good guy. If you've been here in South Africa, you get a thing called a police clearance, and then they turn the paperwork in. It still takes a while, and then at that point, you will be approved for a permanent residency. And then also too, as he said, with the critical skills, that list is pretty long, and so we're going to go over that, and then we're going to double back to the temporary visas, which are, I would say, a little bit more attainable, because that's just the process. So when we talk about critical skills, there is a list. You can actually just Google South African critical skills list, and then the whole list will pop up, or you can contact us, and we can send you the list as well, because I do have it available. And it's a lot of different occupations and associated occupations. So here we are. I'm a nurse. and I'm like, you know what, I just want to go to South Africa, and I'm looking at the critical skills list, and I see it and it says nurse. What do I do next?
Okay, so firstly you need to obtain SAQA. SAQA is a South African Qualifications Authority that evaluates your foreign qualifications. Once you've been issued with your SAQA certificate, you would then have to register with the relevant professional body.
Yeah.
As a nurse, you would have to register with the Nursing Council of South Africa.
Okay.
And then once the certificate has been issued, then you are ready to apply. But you would need to obtain your medicals. You need to do your medical checks, your police clearances from all the countries you've left since you have turned 18 years. You would need, as I've explained, you can apply with or without an employment offer. If you don't have a job offer, you can submit without the employment contract. However, you would need to include your bank statement to prove that you will be able to sustain yourself whilst you are looking for a job in South Africa. And then once the visa will be issued for 1 year. Within the 1 year, as a critical skills person, obviously you shouldn't struggle to find employment unless if you struggle, then it means there might be.
It's your fault. You didn't do your due diligence. Just saying.
Exactly. Or we do have such skills in South Africa, so it's not necessary to employ a foreign national.
Okay.
And then once you've secured a job, then you can extend your 1 year visa. You'll get the remaining 4 years. But once the visa has been issued, the 4 year visa has been issued, well, the 5 years has been issued, then you may be, you will be eligible to apply for permanent residence immediately. You don't have to wait for 5 years to expire, like somebody who's holding a general work visa.
Okay. So as you're starting to figure this out, as you're following along with us, there is a pathway. There's a true and genuine pathway. Now, us as U.S. citizens, we always, we see it on TV, we see it on the news, and you hear about the people who are not residents saying we need a pathway, we need a true and valuable pathway to stay in this country. It's already here, so it's not like we got to make this up. It's already here. So we're trying to educate you on you being able to see that it is here, and we can definitely help you get through that process if you plan on coming to South Africa. So those that do look at the critical skills list, do this. Keep in mind that the terminology may be a little different for South Africans. They say different stuff. I mean, it's English. It's all English, but for some odd reason, y'all just say it differently, or you could mean something like, for example, Tasha. She's a physical therapist. Do you guys say physical therapist, or do y'all say physio?
Physio.
Yeah. So Tasha's a physio. So again, the terminology could be different, and if you have a question, again, that's just another reason to shoot us an email so we can get a clarification to make sure that everything is good to go. And keep in mind that list came out in 2014. It hasn't changed. It hasn't updated. I've looked at it. I've requested another copy just to make sure that we got we got rocket scientists on there and astrophysicists and all those things that you guys are. So okay, so now the permanent residency, from what I understand, it gets you the option to you get a South African ID.
Correct.
You get a little letter that goes along with your passport to say that you're cool. You're part of the cool kids gang. And what else do you get? You get anything else?
No. So you will be issued with a permanent residence certificate, which does not expire. It's lifelong.
Yeah.
Immediately you can apply for a permanent resident ID. You will get the green card ID.
Yeah.
You will be treated like a South African. The only thing that you can do is to vote as a permanent resident. Otherwise, you get all the benefits of a South African citizen.
Yeah, and you get all the headaches too. Just saying, you gotta call SARS every once in a while.
Yeah.
South African Revenue Service.
Yes.
They're friendly.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay, and then once you've been holding your permanent residency for 10 years, you will be eligible to apply for citizenship.
Yeah.
Citizenship would obviously, you will get a South African passport and your ID number would change. As a permanent resident holder, the last 3 digits would be 18 something, 180.
Okay.
Yeah. As a citizen, it's 08 something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
then you can obtain a South African passport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For you guys that don't know, a lot of us over here are not citizens. Us Americans are not citizens. So it's not like you're in a situation where you have to relinquish your American citizenship because you went and got a visa permit or a permanent residency. You still keep your citizenship and your allegiance to the U.S. You just happen to be here, and with that permanent residency and even the temporary residency, it gives you access to South Africa in a lot of ways that a tourist can't.
Yes.
Okay, so you do agree. You're the expert. Okay, cool. So now we're backing it back down, and we're going to a point where we're going to talk about temporary visas or permits.
Okay.
Now, one of the ones I wanted to bring up was the temporary visa for retired persons.
Okay.
Go ahead and give us the whole scoop on what you know.
Okay.
As an expert.
Okay. Currently in South Africa, there's no age restriction or age limit to become a retired person.
Okay.
In order to qualify for that, as a South African, you can retire at the age of 50, 60, yeah.
Yeah, something like that,
yeah. The normal one is 60, 65. Yeah, but as a foreign national, as long as you qualify, you are getting an income of 37,000. It doesn't matter where it's coming from.
Okay.
It can be
let me pause you on this 37,000.
Okay.
Current figures today says it's $2,251.31. You got to have that coming in on some level of an annuity, okay, or retirement, or something that's unrevocable.
Yes.
That's the key. So if you got that coming in, I know a lot of us who are retired military, those that are retired firefighters, police officers, people who work for the state, for the federal government. If you could, let's say a lot of us can retire at 50 or do an early retirement. If at the end of the day, your number is more than $2,251.31, then I think you should apply for a retirement visa here in South Africa.
South Africa. Correct.
Yeah, but you can't. You got to. Like I said, you got to pass the police background check in the U.S. as well. Just saying. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So you need to prove that you're getting the income of 37,000 rands. You obviously need to have invested in South Africa, like in a form of purchasing property, to prove that you're planning to retire permanently in South Africa. So the visa is issued for a maximum period of 4 years. It's renewable indefinitely. And as a retired person, you also qualify for permanent residence. So you'd have to meet the same requirements. You need to prove where your income is coming from by form of letters from your retirement annuities or financial institution or bank statements.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
your income can also come from rental. For example, if you have properties that you're renting and you're getting an income, as long as it matches the required amount, then you are eligible to apply.
So almost any income that you have that's not tied to a job.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So if you got income that you can get coming in, like I said, you got rental property, you're renting it, and you're getting $1,500 a month, then now you're halfway there. And so forth. So any income that you're going to get, even if you're getting, like a lot of us who, and the only reason I'm pausing here is because we do get a lot of calls from people who are proper retired. They're 60-something years old. Their retirement is, the money that they are getting is flat out not enough to take care of themselves. And so they're like, well, what can I do? And they're looking for somewhere. They've already moved to the most inexpensive place in the United States, and they're still struggling. And they can properly see themselves with the amount of money that they're getting. With $251. I'm gonna ask the hard question. Can you live okay on 37,000 rand?
Yes, definitely.
Tell them how good they can live. Yeah, for real. You can live okay.
You can live okay. You can buy property in Midrand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right beside me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but again, $2,251 in the United States as a 65-year-old. Just not picking on 65-year-old or 25-year-olds isn't a lot. It just isn't. So, but those same people do have the option to apply for a retired person's visa, which again, she just said at the 4 years or 5 years you can.
4 years, yeah.
At the 4 years you can apply for the
Permanent residence, yes.
Permanent residency.
Immediately once it's issued, you qualify
Yeah.
for permanent residence as a retired person.
So you can back this up. So once you get issued your temporary,
For 4 years.
For 4
then
years.
you can apply for your permanent residence.
after 4 years,
No,
immediately,
immediately.
like the next day.
Yes.
Y'all heard
next
that? The next day, the very next day. Okay, so again, like I said before, this is a pathway to get where you want to go. There's a pathway. Keep in mind, it doesn't mean that you gotta leave the United States forever or what. Because if you're on a temporary visa, you can live here 3 months a year, live in the United States for 9 months a year. However you want to do it, you just can come and go as much as you want, and that's something that you need to actually think about. Now you have somewhere in Africa you can go and lay down roots, and then once you get that permanent residency, like she said before, now family members can come.
Yes.
Cousins,
Accompanying family.
even your cousins.
No, your cousins can
Okay.
come under you.
Okay, tell me.
Your immediate family,
Okay.
your wife, your husband, your children, and your parents.
Okay,
Yes.
see, and then once they get, then they would get permanent residency,
Yes,
correct?
under you.
Okay, and then that person eventually will grow older, and then they can have children.
Exactly.
And then
So
once
the
that
whole
child
family is covered, yeah.
gets permanent residency, as you've seen my drift, now you're starting something. You're starting a legacy in Africa, and it really just starts with the one person who says, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get my temporary, and then ultimately I'm gonna do what I need to do. It's not like you got to work in the meanwhile. It's time is going to make that happen for you. Then you get your permanent, and then now family members can start coming, and then once they start having children, then they got permanent residency. And I'm just going to say this now, and then they have a lot of services here in South Africa, like free medical for people. How much does college cost these days?
I don't know.
At Witwatersrand or the University of Cape Town?
I think.
Okay, now, big question. We're going to talk about the business visas. Give us an overview and an explanation of how the business visas work.
Okay. A business visa allows you to conduct business in South Africa. In order to qualify, you need to invest 5 million into the business. You can invest in an existing business, or you can start a new business.
Okay.
When starting a new business, you would need to prove that the funds are available. The 5 million required amount is available in your foreign bank account. You can invest. The 5 million does not have to be in a form of cash, like total 5 million. It can be by machinery or equipment that we will be using in the business, and you obviously need to have some cash available. The business visa is issued for 3 years. Immediately after 3 years, you once it's granted, you are eligible to apply for permanent residence.
Okay.
So your accompanying family can also apply under you. It's
Okay.
the main business permit or business visa holder.
Okay.
before it could get issued, you need to get recommendation or approval from the Department of Trade and Industry. So Home Affairs has issued a list of businesses which are undesirable, which are not recommended.
Sure.
So if your business falls in one of those categories or one of those businesses, then obviously you will not be granted. Your recommendation will be negative.
You'll be denied when you try to come over here and start that janky business or that pawn shop. It will be denied.
Exactly.
Yeah, it will definitely be denied.
Exactly. So if you've invested in an existing business, the DTI would send their officials to come and inspect your business and check whether you comply. You've registered your employees, how many employees you have, you pay your taxes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's
So
business.
now, when she says 5 million, she doesn't mean 5 million US dollars. She means actually 5 million South African rands,
correct.
which comes out roughly in today's numbers about 230,000 US dollars. And like she said, it doesn't have to be in cash. It could be in equipment, stuff that you already own. It could be equity, things along that line. And at the end of the day, once everything is sorted out, we are a registered company with the Invest SA, and they can help us, get you through that process as well. And also the DTI, Department of Trade and Industry, they are very serious about who they are, the gatekeepers. And so if your business is on the approved list, or better yet, not on the approved list, you know what I mean, that janky business, you can actually get that taken care of, and then get their approval. And once you got their approval,
then you can apply for the actual visa.
Yep.
Yes.
And then of course at some point, same thing, you can apply for the permanent visa,
yes,
which you can bring your family at some point, and then ultimately they have kids, and then they get a permanent residency. And as you see the snowball effect, and then as time goes on, you'll be sitting around, you have a whole bunch of your family members that are South African citizens and things along that line. So it's something that you definitely need to think about. Now, I know for a fact that there are plenty of you guys that are looking at starting businesses here in South Africa, and there is a pathway. I've done it before, and again, our company, we are registered with Invest SA, and like I said, all the entities that you need to start your business is under one roof, and so forth. So yeah, so we can definitely help you, and of course, the information that you're providing is definitely worth it. Is there
you need to employ 60% South Africans.
Okay, so when you do employ people, they have a thing called the BEE.
Yes.
Is it enough E's? BEE?
Triple B.
Yeah.
EE. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's ultimately you just it's an inclusive program to hire South Africans. Is that pretty much what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't just come here, bring all your friends, and start, building your own little empire. No. You need to come here, and you need to
create jobs for South Africa.
Exactly, that's the whole purpose. That's why a lot of times you hear me say, come here to start a business, because there's enough avenues here for you to come here and start a business, because all of this is just so. Or of course, there's more places for South Africans to work. Okay. Let me see. Is there anything else that we need to talk about when it comes to visas, or anything that a little insider tip, something that we need to know?
There's another category of a financially independent.
Oh.
It's also an investment type of a permit. For that one, you do not have to. You can apply for permanent residence straight away.
Yeah.
So you can apply for it as long as you have assets or 120, 12 million.
Yeah, 12 million rand.
Yes, 12 million rands. If you have 12 million rand, you will qualify to apply for that permanent residency. But before it gets granted, you would have to pay 120,000 to the Department of Home Affairs.
Yeah.
Yes. So when they adjudicate your application, they will contact you and send you their banking details. Obviously, if you do not get any feedback from them, and you just get asked, or when you track your visa, it shows that it's ready, your outcome is ready for collection. Obviously, then it means there was something wrong with your application and it got rejected, because they will not issue your certificate until you've paid that amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's and ultimately it's a small price to pay when you do the math. If you do 120,000 rand divided by 16.5, that's basically what it would cost for a fee. The 12 million, I think that's what we talked about, is literally all your assets.
Yes.
Money you have in the bank, money you have in savings, money you have tied up in homes, retirement accounts. If we take it all in investments, and you might have your Bitcoin thing, and we add it all up, and if it comes up to that number, and we can I guess get a chartered accountant or an accountant to check, make sure everything is there, statements are there, and you're willing to peel off a little bit of money to pay to the DTI, then you can go directly to your permanent residency that way.
Yes.
So these are things that are available. So what I'm going to do is just kind of wrap this up. But again, our job here, one of the things we like to do is try to assist you guys in coming to South Africa. And I know a lot of you guys want to come here and live and start businesses and buy property and things along that line. Now, one thing that before I wrap this up, I think we talked about, if you buy property here, can you just, now I bought a house for 5 million rand, which is, I can't even think of the number right now, what it is in US dollars, but can you just come and just stay?
You need to have a visa in order for you to stay for long in South Africa. You can come in as a tourist, and you can renew your tourist visa for another 90 days, but then you need to leave, unless if you're planning to stay in South Africa on a long-term basis.
Yes.
Yeah. That's when you would have the option of applying. You need to indicate what your plans, what are your activities in South Africa? What are you planning to do in the country? Yes. Buying a house does not mean you can come and stay here permanently.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can have a holiday home in South Africa. You're welcome to do that.
Sure.
But if you're planning to stay here for longer than the 90 days or 6 months, then you need to have a long-term temporary residence visa.
Okay. Yeah. Now, one thing too I wanted to bring up. I know we know a lot of people that come here on 90-day visas, or what we call tourist visas, travel visas. You can actually have more than one travel visa in a year. And you could correct me if I'm wrong. So if, let's say I came in for 90 days, you know what, I really like it here. You can extend by putting in some paperwork through Home Affairs.
VFS.
Yeah, VFS. You do, now you got an additional 90 days or 180 days. But at that point, after that's over, you need to exit the country.
Correct.
So now what they will require you to do is go back to your home of record.
Yes.
Which is, you have to go back to the United States. Now, all that stuff is tracked. When they be swiping your passport, it tells everywhere you've been.
Yes.
Okay? So then once you go back to the United States, so let's say you back in the United States for a week, you say hi to your mom, you're like, man, I'm really missing that food, and you're not in South Africa, which is probably going to be the case, and your friends that you left, and there was a bride that you missed that was coming up, and of course, Nasty C is performing, you're going to miss that too, and you're like, man, I really want to go back. Once you have entered into the United States and you've been there, you could turn around 2 days later and come back.
Yes, you'll get a new 90 days.
And you'll get a new 90-day visa.
Yeah.
And then you can extend that one as well.
As well, yes.
Okay. So as you see, there are pathways to do everything you need to do. So even if you're doing this to start your business or to find investments, whatever you can do, South Africa has been very liberal in handing out these types of things. You just can't come here as a tourist and start working.
Yes.
Because there are people here who can already do that job and whatnot. Now, I will tell you, we also have people who decided to, they do a thing called Overstay.
Yes.
If you notice, the lights got dim, you know, the Kraken's coming out. So let's talk about these overstays, and it's very important.
Okay, the overstay, you will get declared undesirable if you've overstayed. For example, if you you are in South Africa on a 90 days tourist visa,
Sure.
and you failed to renew your visa.
Mm-hmm.
You failed to apply for an extension, and then other people would, for example, get sick and will not be able to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And they would overstay, for example, by 1 day or a month.
Yeah.
If you've overstayed, you will be declared undesirable upon exiting the country. However, you would have to make a representation to the Director General of Home Affairs and request him to remove you from a list of the overstay or undesirable people. You would have to submit proof or motivate why you should be allowed entry back into the country.
Yeah.
For example, if you were ill and you failed to leave the country because you had to see your doctor or you couldn't travel, you would have to submit supporting documents from medical institutions or doctors proving that you were unable to travel at the time. However, if you just forgot about your visa and ignored it, if you've overstayed by longer than a month, you will be declared undesirable for up to 5 years. So for 5 years, you will not be able to come back to South Africa unless you have been uplifted, depending on your reasons, obviously.
Yeah, and that's an appeal process,
Yes.
and it's not guaranteed, and they take it very seriously.
Yes.
And they should, because you shouldn't be coming in here thinking that you could just do whatever. And there have been those who are like, you know what, I'm staying, and I feel them because I never want to leave. But unfortunately, that's what happens from time to time. Now, and I know there's a whole process to doing that. But let me tell you what the ultimately end result is, and I'm gonna get some confirmation here. Let's say here you are, you stayed over 36 days because you just decided that you just felt like you should be able to stay. I'll take care of it later. Now you're declared undesirable. They're not going to beat you over the head, but now you're declared undesirable. What are the chances of you getting a visa?
You can only apply or get a visa once you've been removed from the list of people who are undesirable.
So there's no chance to get
if you haven't been removed, you are unable to apply.
Yeah.
You won't even be able to submit your application.
Exactly.
When they check your details on the system, then it will show that you've been flagged.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are banned from coming back to South Africa.
Yeah. So all that trying to get a temporary visa to try to motivate yourself to get a permanent visa, all those options are off the table when you become what they call it an undesirable. So I guess the very last thing is, so let's just suppose for a moment you petition the minister, he takes you off the list. Then can you get a visa? Can you apply for a visa?
You can apply for a visa, but you still need to attach that letter of upliftment from Home Affairs included in your application.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't become an overstay. It's not worth it. It really isn't. Just go back home. And then come back. We'll be here.
Or renew your visa if you want to stay longer.
Or renew your visa. Just have a plan. Make a plan. Keep in mind, and I'm just going to say this now, especially if you're a U.S. citizen. Keep in mind that when you come on this side of the world, especially in Africa, especially South Africa, as we just kind of went over it easily. I mean, we didn't go into everything. There are pathways to do everything you need to do. And there are people in place, such as ourselves, that can make it all work for you. You just got to follow the plan. But if you decide that you just want to, you know what, I'm going to do what they do in Ghana. Unfortunately, South Africa has its own government, right? And they have their own president, so they have their own rules.
Yeah.
So just follow the rules, because you are as comfortable as you're going to feel when you're here, seeing people that look like you. You are still a foreigner.
Yes.
Yeah, I paused that. That was pretty smooth. But yeah, but you are a foreigner. You are exactly a foreigner, and just respect that, and just be happy that you might not have heard this term, host nation, is giving you plenty of liberties to be here, and then unfortunately, they want you here as well.
Yes.
So cool.
Cool.
That's all I have, people. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Shoot us an email. All the information is there, and we can start your process in getting you here to South Africa legally. Hello everyone, this is Mark Blanton from the Real South Africa. I'm sure you guys have probably been following us here on our Facebook page and of course on our YouTube channel, which all that information will be below. Think about it. Coming to South Africa, maybe not something that you was thinking about doing, but I promise you this, you've been missing out on one of the best kept secrets in all of travel. And of course, you're fortunate because we're here already to make sure all of this works for you. So the best thing that you can do is to go ahead and contact us. Go to our website, therealsouthafrica.com. You will get a lot of information there. Go ahead and send us an email and let's start working on your packages now. Now keep in mind that you could do individual package, meaning, hey, I just want to come by myself. I really don't want to, bother others, or you can come in a big group and everything in between, special occasions, birthdays, things along that line. We're here to make sure it all works for you. So again, contact us at The Real South Africa. As you see, this is it. This is the real thing. Again, contact us. Talk to you later.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on all things The Real South Africa. Thanks again.